Today, we're going to be taking apart 3 different kinds of fans here. We're going to go ahead and weigh up each one individually, and we'll see what we get for the whole unit, and then we'll break it down and see what we get for a processed unit. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Here's some of the stuff that you're going to want to have to make this a lot easier. You're going to want something to pound with. You're going to need your wire cutters, a couple pairs of pliers or something to grab with, a couple of pry bars of various sizes. You're going to need some drill bits and a drill. You're going to need something to get those bolts loose. Some fans do have a little Allen wrench key in them to get the fan blades off, so you're going to want one of those. And you're going to need your Phillips screwdriver. A vise is also optional. We got our first fan up here on the scale. It weighs 10 pounds, 13.6 ounces. Now, if we went and turned this unit in as a whole, we would only be getting about 87 cents. Let's go ahead and break it down and see how much more we could make. All right, let's start by removing this insulated copper wire. We're going to go ahead and take our wire cutters here and give it a good old snip. They don't weigh a lot, but they do add up very quickly. My yard requires me to clip off my plug ends. If yours doesn't, leave it on there, get that copper wire price, but I will have to go ahead and clean this up. There we have it. Now I should be able to get $1.14 a pound for this insulated copper wire. Let's go ahead and undo these 4 nuts, and then there's 4 other ones on the back side, and we'll see what happens. Give these wires a little clip here. There we go. We'll come back, get this insulated wire out of here in just a moment. We have a little bit more sheet iron here. We'll toss into that pile. Next up, you're going to want to grab your Allen wrench, and you're going to want to remove this little screw right in here, and we'll take off these fins. There we go, that's removed. There we go, they came off pretty easy. Sometimes they don't come off quite that easy. Now we're going to be left with some aluminum here. We'll go ahead and use our magnet. The magnet doesn't stick, so now we're going to want to remove those so we can get some nice clean aluminum pricing, because the center is magnetic. That will dock your clean aluminum price. The way I like to do my aluminum rivets here, as you can see, they're not just simple screws. I like to go ahead and just drill them out. So let's go ahead and get at that and get it taken care of. There we go. Didn't take long at all, and now we have a nice, beautiful, clean piece of aluminum. I'm going to go ahead, clean the rest of these up, and we'll move on. There we have it. We have a little bit of shred, and now we have 3 nice, clean pieces of aluminum. So for the brass plug, you're going to want to go ahead and grab some pliers or something. Get it nice and snug in the vise, but not too tight. Go ahead, pinch it firmly, kind of roll it to the side, and you should be able to pull that brass prong out along with a nice little strand of number 2 copper. Oh, see, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes they just break off, but you still have a nice little piece of brass here. Alright, so we could turn our motor in as a whole unit. It weighs 3 pounds, 9.7 ounces. I'll have the calculations up all on the screen and stuff. But I feel like if we broke it down, we could make a little bit more money than that. Let's go ahead and do it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get these nuts off of here. And then that way we can take the casing off and we can split this motor. Go ahead and grab some pliers here. There you go. Once you get them broke loose, you can just use your fingers. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and get the other 3 out of here. There we have it. We got a little bit of sheet iron, and we'll go ahead and open up this motor. It should just fall apart, but we can go ahead and just give it a nice little tap right here, and she comes right apart. All right, the outside casing is magnetic, so we'll just go ahead and toss that into our sheet iron pile. Now we're left with this beautiful copper here. We can go ahead, we can split it with a machete. We can cut the cone here with a grinder or a Sawzall. You can go through and you can clip it with your wire snips as well and pull the copper from the other side. All right, so for this one, I think we're gonna go ahead and try it machete style. If it doesn't work out, we can always switch to plan B. There we go, the machete and the hatchet made pretty light work of this motor. Chopped right through it like butter. Let's go ahead and get her propped up in the vise and pull out some of that copper. Now time for the fun part. Grab yourself a little screwdriver or pry bar or something. And we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna take this half of a motor. We're gonna put it up in our vise here. And then we're just gonna go ahead, wiggle that pry bar in and out of these coils and work them out. And then we should have some nice number 2 copper wire. And there we go. We'll clean up a few of these strings off of here just so my yard isn't too picky and doesn't get upset about it. But yeah, nice little piece of copper there. And we're left with a little bit of sheet iron. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to go ahead, trim up all these strings, get this wire off of here. We're just going to go ahead, take our wire cutters and snip these wires and get that junk out of there. There we have it. We have some nice number 2 copper, a little pile of garbage, and some insulated copper wire. Let's go ahead, weigh up all the different categories, and see exactly how much we made. For our shred, we ended up having 9 pounds, 6.1 ounces, 5.6 ounces of number 2 copper, 5.1 ounces of clean aluminum. We have 4 grams of brass, and we have 6.3 ounces of insulated copper wire. And there we have it, guys. We got all of our metals separated, and I'll have all the calculations along with the difference up on the screen. Let's go ahead and do this one next. We'll save the fun one for last. Let's go ahead and get at her. Prices for sheet iron will be down below. So if we took this unit in as a whole, we have 8 pounds, 3.3 ounces. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clip our insulated cord off of here. And I'm also going to go ahead and loosen this up. Instead of lefty-loosey, you're going to want to spin it to the right to loosen up this fan blade here. There you have it, a little bit of garbage and a little bit of sheet iron. All right, next up, we're gonna go ahead and get this motor off of the base. After we get this motor removed, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of this into my sheet iron pile. So to get the motor off, we're gonna go ahead, unscrew this. There is a nut right here that you're going to have to hold on to while you're unscrewing so this motor can pop off. And then sometimes up here, there is a screw holding this in, but in my case, I can just go ahead and pull it off of there. A little bit more sheet iron. And this guy should pop off, and then we can clip that cord. There we have it. We got our motor. Go ahead and get this guy out of the plastic housing. To get that little bit of insulated wire that's left over in there, there's going to be 6 screws here that we can pop out. And there we have it. Go ahead and clip that wire out of there. All right, we're going to go ahead and get this motor out of the plastic housing. I do believe it is only 4 screws right here and 1 in the back. Let's go ahead and do that quick. Okay, it was just 1 screw in the back. But to get the plastic off the front, we'll go ahead and loosen these up. Oh, and I think we're going to have to pull off this screw. We're going to go ahead and clean up some more insulated wire, a little bit more plastic on here. I'm going to go ahead and remove this screw up here. This comes right off. And there we have it. We're left with our motor. We're going to go ahead and get a weight on that. We got some insulated copper wire here. We'll go throw that into our pile as well. We're going to go ahead and remove this steel rod through here quick because I do believe my yard would dock me if I left it in there. All right, so this motor weighs 1 pound, 8 ounces. All right, so next up we're gonna need our needle nose or our pliers so we can grab the nut right here. And we're gonna need our Phillips head so we can take out this screw. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the other 4 of them. There we go. Got ourselves a little bit more sheet iron for our pile, and then we have our beautiful copper right here. I think once again, we're gonna go ahead, use the machete style on it, and get that copper out of there. Well, that one made a little bit more of a mess, but that's all right. We can still get that copper out of there. All right, now that we got that mess taken care of, we're gonna go ahead and take our remainder of our copper that's still left inside this motor, get a little screwdriver or something to pull the copper out with. We're just gonna wiggle it on out, pull the remainders out, toss them into our bucket. There we go. We're left with a little bit of garbage. We have our copper and some more insulated wire. Let's go ahead and get this stuff weighed up. We have 7 pounds, 0.6 ounces of sheet iron, 2.9 ounces of insulated copper wire. We have another 4 grams of brass. And we have another 2.3 ounces of number 2 copper. All right, on to our last fan. If we were gonna go ahead and turn this unit as a whole for sheet iron, we would have 13 pounds, 4.9 ounces. But let's go ahead and break it down and see if we can't do any better. All right, so first off, I'd like to note that I would end up selling these, except for the fact that this guy's broken. You could probably fetch 20 bucks or so on Marketplace, maybe more depending on the style. But for this video, we're gonna have to go ahead and toss those out. And then right now, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out all of these screws. So let's go ahead and get at that and see what we got. All right, so we're starting to get there. We got some more copper wire we got to clip out of here, and a few more screws we'll have to remove so we can get this motor out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. We'll fast forward through and get her done. All right, we got all that wire cleaned out. Now we've got a big old nut right here that we got to get off, so we can pull this off, and then we're gonna go ahead and remove these screws as well. Hopefully the other back side will just slide right off then. Little more sheet iron. We got another nut here. There we go. there's a few more screws here. I'm gonna go ahead and get these screws out and these screws out, and then we'll go from there. All right, if we sold our electric motor as a whole, we would have 6 pounds, 3.1 ounces. Let's go ahead and break it down a little bit farther. All right, so we got a few screws here that we need to pop out, and I'm just gonna take these out just in case we need to anyways. Oof. I don't think that really did much there, but go ahead, pop these 4 out and open it up, see if that helps. There we go. Look at all that beautiful copper in there, guys. And this, that is steel. Go ahead and throw this into our sheet iron pile. All right, so this part, you may want your Sawzall. We're gonna go ahead and just cut this shaft right here. It'll make it a lot easier than trying to unscrew it. All right, now with this shaft cut on here, we should be able to just take our hammer and give it a nice little pound on the back side, and she pops right out. Now we have another piece of sheet iron, and then we'll go ahead and clip these coils and get that copper out. All right, for this next part, we're gonna go ahead and grab our wire cutters. We're just gonna go through and we're gonna clip each one of these coils just on one side, and then we'll move on to the next part. Let's go ahead and get it done. Don't forget to go ahead and give these strings a couple of cuts too, because that'll make it much easier to pull that copper out from the other side. All right, so now what we're gonna wanna do is go ahead, flip our motor over in the vise here. And we're gonna wanna go ahead, snip some more wires here as well, so it's a little bit easier to pull those rings out. All right, so now what we're gonna wanna do is grab our little pry bar and our pliers or something to grab with. We're gonna wiggle these coils up, and then sometimes they get stuck, so we'll just go ahead and grab them with our pliers and pull them out. There we go. There we have it, guys. We have a nice heavy piece of sheet iron to add to the pile, and we have a whole bunch of nice number 2 copper windings. Let's go ahead and weigh it up. We'll see what the differences are and what we made on this fan, and then we'll go ahead and do an overall weight. All right, we have 8 pounds, 14.6 ounces of sheet iron. We have 1.7 ounces of insulated copper wire. And we have 11 ounces of number 2 copper. All right, guys, let's go ahead, weigh everything up and see what we have for a whole price. And for our total amount of sheet iron, we ended up having 25 pounds, 5.2 ounces. And for our insulated copper wire weight, we have 10.8 ounces. We're still sitting at about 5 ounces of clean aluminum. We didn't come across any more. We ended up having 1 pound, 2.5 ounces of number 2 copper. Alrighty guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, hit that like button, leave a comment, share it out, and definitely, most importantly, subscribe please. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and we'll definitely catch you in the next one.